hell to the no, hell to the no.
Ask them if they hear
to
hell
the no, 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 hell no, no, to the no, no, hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 hell to the no, no, to the no, 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 hell to the no, 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 no.
It's okay, just says she hears it.
To the no, 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 hell.
All right.
Hell no.
Hell no. Yeah, we're back. Had to do a reset. This is part 2. Basically, if you missed the last part of what we said, is that nobody, the Amish, the Red Stick, and nobody in the InfoSec industry is buying the story. Cloudflare needs to do friggin' better. All right, enough of that story.
Sure.
So, speaking of...
the Rona.
Oh, yeah. So, speaking of needing to do better, there was a story that came out this week, and this falls under the total bullshit theme that we're talking about tonight. So, there was a story this week that Russian spies were targeting COVID-19 vaccine research
in Canada, the UK, and the US.
Yeah, and so and that was the stories were, first of all, not really attributed to any certain intelligence agency or the intelligence agency within a country. They said that the 3 countries agreed. However, Mike Pompeo would not say a word about it. He was asked, and he wouldn't comment. The comments that he made were about Russia hacking the elections.
Yeah, and a lot of the, like you said, no intelligence agency would attribute themselves to the statement. These statements just came out from, like, the UK's National Cybersecurity Center, and, things like that. So,
yeah,
they weren't actually, they were just alert bulletins. They weren't actual... there was no meat behind them like we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, so there was, according to the story, a warning published by an international group of security services. And one of those included the NSA and the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency and Homeland Security,
and Secret Service,
right? But
and they were attributing it to APT 29,
right.
Cozy Bear, the Dukes, and we have questions about this story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so first First of all, even though it said that the UK's NCSC was one of the agencies that issued a bulletin, I can't find a bulletin, right? So I looked, I couldn't find one. If somebody else finds one, please let me know. CISA bulletins tend to be public. I don't know that they are necessarily all public, but I haven't seen one. So the other thing about this is that the UK came out and strongly denied that they had anything to do with this. And so if one of their internal groups issued a warning and then they came out and said, we don't believe this and we didn't have anything to do with this, I mean, that's highly questionable in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, disavowing your own agencies is kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, outside the Trump-Russia hoax, it doesn't happen that often, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's really strange. I'll give you my theory in a little bit, but another really strange thing about it is that Russia was in the middle of negotiations with AstraZeneca, which is a UK company, to license their version of the COVID-19 vaccine. Why would Russia be hacking into providers that they were negotiating with to license that? They were going to get it anyway. Like,
yeah,
this,
it sounds counterproductive.
it could have totally tanked that deal if AstraZeneca or the UK believed it for a second. It wouldn't have been signed, and it was signed within, I think it was 48 hours or 72 hours. They signed the deal.
Right.
Within 72 hours of this news. So it almost feels like somebody was trying to tank that deal. Right?
Yeah, or, I don't know. There's several angles to this. I mean, one of the angles would be that, Russia did it in order to push through the deal, saying, look, we're going to get it anyway. You might as well make some money off of it. I don't buy that one.
No.
That doesn't.
That's too risky. Yeah.
That's too risky.
Risk reward, no.
Yeah, the risk reward, because at any point they could say, okay, get fucked, go for it. So, and that brings us to the point where we're at, where everybody trying to say it was Russia, and Russia's like, why would we do that? We've got a deal with AstraZeneca. We're getting the product. We don't need to do it. So that's a lot more plausible. But then you get into the why is everybody pointing fingers at Russia. And I don't know if you're ready to go here. I'm willing to go here and say that it's false flag.
Yeah, I totally. If it is true that the NCSC issued a warning that Russia was doing this, that is a complete false flag. For one thing, they attributed it to APT-29, which, as we know, is Cozy Bear. The same group that, they get attributed with basically 90% of what Russia does.
Yeah, they're the monster under the bed.
But their techniques and tactics and methods are well known. Like, well known. All the malware they use is out there. The VPS that they use, they're all well known. Impersonating this group is probably the easiest group in the world to impersonate.
It's when you hear about Cozy Bear, you kind of think it's like, I don't know if you're familiar with the old story about Kalashnikov, when after he invented the AK-47, someone made some suggestions to him and he said rifle is fine. And that's kind of whenever I think of Cozy Bear's methodology, when it's like, God, you guys keep doing the same thing. Our method is fine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true, and that is one thing that makes them very easy to impersonate. And so it makes me, anytime someone says APT-29, I say,
It's like on Twitter when somebody screams Soros. It's like, okay, Soros has got his fingers in a lot of things, but he's not behind every lamp. He's not behind,
Yeah, he's not. He's also not in that Twitter sock, and
right,
and not necessarily sending the person that is a check.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's the equivalent of us getting called Russian bots all the time. It's like,
right.
Yeah. Orty's not a Russian bot. I actually do a radio show with him.
Right.
So I know he's a real person. But so this is, so I'm gonna give my theory on this, because Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, being included in this, right, really gave me pause. That was the first thing that I read and went, huh? Because, yes, they are a cybersecurity partner. Yes, they do have, pharmaceutical research. Yes, it could be valid, except that you rarely ever see them in this kind of story. So my theory is their cybersecurity research can be really hinky, and I have seen them and known them to falsely attribute things for political reasons before, right? So my gut tells me that someone in Canada leaked this, maybe even, sent it to the agencies in the U.S., which prompted the warning. But their real goal behind this is to bring Russia into this mix and maybe cover for China as well, because their ties to the CCP are very strong. And I don't trust Canada for shit. I don't. I think we need a wall on the northern border as well.
Any country whose whole export is maple syrup and poutine, no, I do not trust. And hockey.
Right. Is that, well, you know.
Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do trust Canada when it comes to women's curling.
I will say that I've been to hockey games, and while it is very cold, it was also fun. So hockey's okay. Hockey is okay. But,
yeah, Jeff, I did that just because chat hadn't moved for a couple minutes, and I was wondering if it hadn't locked up. And there you are.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I definitely don't trust their intelligence. Not that I think that. Not that I think that they're wholly crooked. I think that there's. I mean, you know, every intelligence agency in the world has questionable people in it, but I just don't think they're that bright. So yeah. So there's that. But
they're just not duplicitous enough to be.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, but their ties to the CCP are extremely
They are
strong.
pretty tight, yeah.
Yeah, they're very tight. So I question this story. I definitely think that it's misattributed. Like those hacks were misattributed. Russia has absolutely no vested interest in doing that when they were in the middle of a very lucrative negotiation with AstraZeneca and ended up getting the vaccine anyway. Like that it would have been extremely counterproductive for them to do that, and I don't believe they did it. Russia's a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this real quick as a sidebar. OC, you got to join us in the chat, man. Sending me a tweet saying that George Soros seeded your lawn with crabgrass. That's awesome, but I wouldn't have caught that live during the show if I just hadn't happened to look left at the moment.
But that was great.
That is good.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Bastard. Yeah, so there's something else that
I'm sorry, I totally disrailed you with that. I apologize.
No, it's funny. I was just trying to figure out if we had missed anything else about this story, but I mean that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much. It's not passing the smell test. I mean, don't get me wrong. We are more than happy to point fingers at Russia when we think Russia's involved, but
and we have.
But had it not been that for that deal with AstraZeneca that was just came out this week, which is, I mean, it's kind of us retracting a previous stance, but as information unfolded, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Wait, this particular one does not.
In this particular,
yeah, this particular attribution does not make, and it's important to, you know, and this is my, I'm about to graduate. This is my thesis, is going to be on attribution. This is a very important thing to me. As a matter of fact, I think I take it more seriously than most security companies do, because a lot of them attribute things like haphazardly, and I'm like, what the are you doing, right? So
who did it? We don't know. Let's blame Cozy Bear.
Exactly. I take this very seriously. If I thought for a second that this was in Russia's best interest, and again, it's done in clusters, so there's very little information on this, and this is another thing that bothers me, and the only level of confidence that any of these stories, and I've looked at 7 of them, the only level of confidence given to anything is that the NCSC said, we're 95% sure that Cozy Bear is a Russian intelligence operation. That's it. No level of confidence for anything in the hack, nothing about servers, nothing about malware. They said they usually use phishing and social. It's like
and social engineering.
Yeah, and malware.
on our stories.
Okay. But why have you attributed this to them? It makes no sense when 3 or 4, what was it? So, in the beginning, like, of COVID-19, there were pharmaceutical companies getting hacked, and both you and I said this has got to be China, right?
Yeah.
Then, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, the hacks were actually attributed to China. Fast forward 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they're attributing them to Russia. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, and I see absolutely no cluster of evidence that would make me buy it.
No, I know attribution is always a moving target, but yeah. Yeah, and no, it's not. Like I said, were it not for this AstraZeneca deal, I would probably still buy in that it was cozy.
Well, and you did. I was like, I don't believe this story. And you were like, well, it could be both of them. I was like,
sure.
Yeah, of course it could, but look at this. And you were like, oh, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah,
that's not it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it is the AstraZeneca thing. And that is why I believe the UK came out as strongly as they did and said, there is no evidence. And that's the other thing. The UK said there is no evidence that this was APT-29. So there's no evidence. Why the fuck are you attributing it to them if there's no evidence?
Right. Yeah.
So, anyway.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah,
attribution is like, it's kind of a sore spot for me sometimes. So, anyway, that's that story, and I think we pretty well covered it.
We hit all our notes tonight.
We did. I hope we hit them well. It was a fun... It's
always fun.
Yeah, it's been a fun clusterfuck of a week.
Yeah, every time you think that, okay, the internet is, it's old hat now. They got the shit down.
Yeah, no. No. The internet will never be old hat. Right. So, yeah, that's one of the fun things about it, though. So, Orty, what you got planned?
Present.
What you got planned for the rest of the week?
Wednesday night I'll be filling in for Dan again on Robinson and Wright, and then Friday we are doing a juxtaposition. Our topic this week will be time travel, and then back around next week there will be a foo bar, and back with you again. What do you got going on this week?
Believe I
your red wine this week.
Yeah, I'm producing tomorrow night at 9 and Wednesday night at 9, which would be Aggie and then the Red Wine Girls. So be sure to listen into them. And then Friday night, I'm back with my girls acting silly because it's Friday. And then back here again on Monday. And looking forward to what crazy fucked up stuff we'll have to cover then.
It's one of those things you're just never going to run out of material.
Yeah, I know, right? Never.
Yeah, right.
Never. So it's like we have to weed stuff out. We have to pick.
We really do.
Yeah.
And the one thing is one of my go-to sources for the light stuff before we get into the heavy stuff is usually what's going on Bleeping Computer. Windows 10 2004 update is speaking of a clusterfuck, it's just so much that it's been like, oh yeah, here's a problem. And it's just been every day where it's like, I mean, just with today off Bleeping Computer, we could have done a whole show on Windows 10 fuck-ups. So, but
yeah,
as Windows 10 goes, it is still the best Windows. Yes, I will fight you over XP.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah. For features, maybe not, stability. But for features, actually, no, it's stable too. But yeah. It's a feature-rich operating system.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
It's got some features. This baby slaps hood.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so we're gonna get out of here, and you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you back here next Monday, and we love you all for joining. Well, we love you anyway, but we love you more for joining. See you then.
Welcome to the chat, OC.
Yay! OC's in the chat. Good night. Have a good week.